When a long marriage ends, there's often an assumption that something must have gone terribly wrong, that someone failed, that someone is the villain. But after my 50 years of marriage, here's what I've learned instead. Not all endings are explosions. Some are completions. They end not because love was false, but because life kept changing. And today I want to talk about my 50-year marriage and what it taught me about letting go without burning the house down. Don't have very good language for dignified endings. Our culture understands rupture. It understands drama. But it struggles with the kind of ending that comes after decades of shared life, where there's history, family, effort, and meaning. Even when the relationship no longer fits. The kind where holidays were real, children were raised, decisions were made together, and none of that disappears just because the relationship changes. This isn't a story about blame. It's about discernment and learning to tell the truth without destroying everything that came before. If you've ever wondered why your ending doesn't fit the stories that people expect, you're not imagining that. So let's talk about what a long marriage teaches us. Being married for 50 years taught me restraint. It taught me the difference between honesty and destruction. There were things I could have said that were true and still would have caused unnecessary harm. Learning not to say them was part of the work. I learned that you can tell the truth without setting fire to the past, without rewriting history or declaring everything as a mistake. Letting go doesn't require denying what was good. Sometimes it simply means acknowledging that a chapter has finished its work. So let's talk a little bit about the pressure to burn it all down. I noticed something as my marriage was ending. There was pressure, subtle and not so subtle, to justify it. Pressure to explain, to summarize, to turn a lifetime into a headline that made sense to other people. To make it dramatic enough to be understood. As if a quiet ending somehow wasn't valid for some reason. As if peace needed witnesses in order to make it count. But clarity doesn't always come with a volume. Some endings are quiet because they're honest, not because they're weak. Letting go without burning the house down wasn't avoidance for me. It was respect for myself, for the life we built, and for the truth as it exists now. After a long marriage, I didn't need to prove anything. Not my strength, not my suffering, not my reasons. I didn't need to convince anyone that the ending was justified. I was allowed to let the chapter be complete without making it ugly to make it valid. If you're waiting for permission to leave quietly, this might be it. So, what did having dignity bring to the party? What did it make possible? I found that something unexpected happened when I chose not to scorch the earth, so to say. I carried less bitterness forward, less self-doubt, and I made more room emotionally and mentally for what comes next. Not certainty, not answers, just room. Letting go with dignity doesn't erase the loss, but it does make space for the peace. And peace, at this stage of life, isn't a small thing. If you're standing at the end of a long marriage, or any long chapter for that matter, I want you to hear this clearly. You're not required to burn the house down to justify leaving it. Some endings are quiet because they're complete. And I want to say this slowly. And sometimes the most courageous thing that you can do is to let something go without destroying everything it once was. These conversations are connected, and this episode is part of a longer conversation that I'm having this season about quiet endings, honest beginnings, and what it looks like to move forward without rewriting the past. I've gathered these conversations into a playlist called Quiet Endings and Honest Beginnings. And new episodes are added to the playlist as soon as they're released. And you're welcome to move through them at your own pace. The link's in the description below. So until next time, stay courageous and stay connected. Bye for now.